Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another introduction around AI in project management. I've got a guest today all the way from Australia. Before I give him a second to introduce himself, I'm Lloyd Skinner. I'm the CEO and founder of Greyfly.ai. We've created an intelligent project prediction tool that uses AI to provide executive intelligence to increase project success. Over to you, Himadri. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Thank you, Lloyd, for having me. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I am Himadri Sekhar Chowdhury. I am a project manager working with CAE. It's a company in the aviation domain. We work for the defense and security establishment in Australia, and we build flight simulators. That's our main core business. And we also provide training. That's our second core business. So essentially, I have been a project manager in the project management stream, associated with project managers for the past 15 years. Quite a bit of experience. I've been working for about 22 years now, and it's been mostly with international companies, trying to resolve problems, trying to deploy implementation challenges, all of that. So I have quite a bit of knowledge, but when Lloyd asked me to talk to this, I understood that it's not only my knowledge, but what is happening in the world, the changes that are coming. This is something new, this is something exciting that we can talk about or we can explore together. And that's why I think it's great to have this opportunity. Thank you, Lloyd.
No problem at all. And of course, the timing at the moment with AI in the wider sense, ChatGPT has just exploded. Microsoft yesterday announcing their Copilot system. It's really exciting. One other thing as well, I believe you're a leading light in the PMI in Australia as well.
Yeah, I am. Thank you. So I am a director of the Project Management Institute Sydney chapter, and I am, along with my fellow directors, look after the membership here. I also recently presented a paper at the PMI Global Conference in Las Vegas last year. Yes, project management,
Himadri,
challenges in project management, very interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the paper on?
It was on trust. It was how we can increase trust in project teams, and what does it give us? Like, why do you increase trust? Why do you need trust?
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe that will come up as we talk. Let's dive into some questions and see where we go. Sure. So around AI and project management, from your perspective, what use cases do you see?
Before we get into the project management part, can I take you back probably another 40, 50 years? Sometime in the 1980s, a gentleman called Ian M. Banks wrote a novel which was the foundation of a lot of AI-based science fiction genre. And he started this entire journey called the culture novels. The culture novels talks about a world in which humans, aliens, essentially a universe of people are dependent on AIs and they're living harmoniously. Now, that's interesting. That's when it kind of caught my attention. And when I started reading the culture novels, and I gradually understood that it's not because humans and AIs are working together, not only because human and AI are working together to create something beautiful, they're also collaborating. They're also filling each other's gaps. So in the culture novels, Banks talks about minds which control everything, controls your home, to your kettle, to your orbital, to probably your city, to your trams. Everything around you is controlled by minds, and they are benevolent minds. They're working in tandem. They are their own people. So essentially, that built my knowledge, my cognitions about AIs, and I take it till this date. I understand AI as not a tool, not a means to achieve something, but somebody who is helping you reach your full potential. So taking it back to project management is it's slightly messy. We need to deal with a lot of implementation challenges, right? And no day is the same. No 2 days are the same, right? And this, in such a scenario, when we come with something which provides the data, provides objectivity, provides a semblance of structure, that essentially helps. How it helps? It brings, as I said, the semblance of structure into our project management, and it also democratizes a lot of these decisions that we usually put as a subjective gut feeling, subjective discussions, and a lot of brainstorming. So a lot of these issues, a lot of these challenges that we face could be rationalized, could be brought down, could be easily done if we take the advantage of AIs in project management.
Brilliant. Himadri, I must admit, you're the first person that's given us that context. And I love the phrase. You talked about helping us reach our full potential. And you know, certainly that's the way I see it. And you know, obviously in the wider world, when you think about that can give rise to people being apprehensive about the journey we're on, and you know, the subject of things like ethics come up. But in terms of you know, embracing AI and working out how it can augment us to improve our daily lives, and in this particular case, improve project management, I think it's fantastic. And your point about helping us be more objective and structure what is typically a human domain, a human endeavor of project management is fantastic. If we just build on that a second and start saying, okay, so you know, for me that sounds like almost some sort of visionary place in a few years' time where perhaps we're you know, we're at one. In the shorter term, where do you see those you know, those most beneficial applications?
See, a lot of people are using AI right now, like PM Auto is kind of, a lot of people are using that tool. So smaller things, chatbots, bots, GPS blown things out of the water right now. But bots and the usage of robotic process automation, it's everywhere. But the thing where I see most benefit is when it comes to integration management, even in the short term and long term. You cannot probably see that in a smaller project. Smaller project is all about the project manager, small team delivering something where a goal is known. But when we come to a complex project, you build a bridge in San Francisco, a huge bridge, or you are probably getting 8 nuclear submarines for Australia from the US. These are major projects, right? When you talk about these complex projects, an integration management, managing multiple vendors, managing multiple personnel, streams, swim lanes become extremely complex. And that's where we put in a lot of people, we put in a lot of planners, we put in a lot of software to handle that challenges. At the end of the day, it's still a group of project managers working under a few project directors are managing this entire show. What if you think about doing a lot of these management by AIs? Can it be done? Can that management be done? And again, your what you mentioned about the complexity of how do we calibrate this in terms of human involvement versus machine involvement, in terms of morality comes into play a little bit. Do you really move out all those people and put in machine learning there or put in AI there? I would say in some cases, yes, because that shows you it's not only giving you a replacement, probably a better handle of analyzing whatever data that are coming out of those swim lanes. it is also helping you to look at the broader picture together. Imagine this, you are building those Power BI reports every day, and there were 15 people building Power BI reports every day, and you are, as a project director, going through all those Power BI reports. What if the summary of that Power BI report in 3 lines, you don't need to do, but somebody is doing it for you? Now, the challenge comes when the data is incorrect. What do you do when the data is incorrect? Can AI find out when the data is incorrect? So that is where predictive analytics come in. Have we reached that stage where AI can predict if that data or if that risk or if that issue is going to blow up? And that was one of the points I think one of your guests talked about a few episodes back. Can you categorize a risk? And if you do categorize a risk, how would you know that the categorization that the AI has done is correct? It will go by the book, right? Look at the items and see historically this is what has happened. And today, based on the data, I see tomorrow this can happen. But will it be the right thing to do? So I don't know the answer to this, but I see there is value in bringing AI in certain scenarios like this. What do you think?
Excellent. Well, you covered a lot of bases there. You talked about RPA, so driving efficiency through computing power. Totally agree with that. And the point of chatbots, being an extension of that. It's really interesting. You're the first person that I've spoken to talk about integration, and I definitely get it. In terms of the number of moving pieces. The number of multiple schedules, budgets, resources, design components, suppliers. If you had some, a mega mind, to coin a phrase that you use, that could accelerate that integration, I think that would be fantastic. And I would go one step further. I think there are people pushing towards that goal now in terms of that in integration. So I definitely think that is certainly a use case that will get pushed forward. Interesting that you picked on the data quality and whether the system will know about the quality of data. And for me, again, like everything we're talking about, we're sort of in the early stages of learning about this. What I know from what we do is that I can automate a set of data checks, and the data quality can be very simple. Is there consistency in the data? The way you capture a pound versus a shilling or a dollar or whatever, as opposed to getting to the heart of the rules around that data. So I personally believe we're already starting to get there in terms of improving that data quality, and I think it won't be long, and you'll certainly have this in domains already, where if there's a data issue spotted, it will automatically be corrected as well. So or it will send a flag to whoever the data generator is as well. So again, for me, this is just increasing sophistication and increasing compute power, whether you call it AI or not, so I definitely wholeheartedly agree that. And for me, the other point I'd like to go back to there that you touched on was back to humans, and would it displace jobs? And I personally believe it will evolve jobs. Some jobs may be taken away, others it will allow us to build on the next intellectual piece as well. I guess, go back to ethics, who gets left behind in that conversation, or do we embrace it and work out how to take us to the next level? And, without being too grand, I'm talking about us as project managers and project experts to the next level. So fantastic. Let's talk about the benefits then. Obviously we've touched on those slightly. Is there some real core benefits that you would see here?
I would see that several sectors have already used it, like you use AI quite a bit. For example, if you look at the construction, building management, the BIM software, and what happens, it's not really less than AI. You think about the automated heating cooling of an office building and how it is done today. It switches on, switches off automatically depending on the volume of the people, number of people, what is the heat required. It calibrates, continuously monitors, and when it goes beyond a certain capability, it provides an alarm. So all of that is now automated. It will all be, in probably a few years' time, it will all be managed by a centralized AI in buildings. If we are not very far from a E&M bank scenario where a hive mind or a mind is controlling the entire building. So we are already reaching there. Sometime in 2004, 5, I read that a fully automated home was being sold in London. I remember the price. It was £400,000 at that time.
It's probably worth a lot more now, Himadri.
Yeah. So back in 2004. So yes, I see the benefits far outweigh the challenges that we have today. There are several benefits. We can literally reduce the time that we are spending on mundane tasks, and that's the most basic benefit, right? If I do not follow up on 15 people regarding their 15 different tasks for a project, I'm freeing up my time to do certain other things. The strategic thinking would increase quite a bit. We do not have the time to strategically think when we are in operationally challenged. So the operational tasks, if is taken over, I'm not even talking about an AI system. I'm talking about a robotic process automation system right now. And if it takes over certain things, yes, you are free to do something else. But the thing comes, and I'm going back to this again. The true benefit of AI will be realized when we do the predictive analysis, when we realize when the AI can make a call. You mentioned that in some cases, the AI will raise a flag to the human master. There's no human master in that stage. At that stage, the AI will determine this is what is best, and then probably launch a nuclear strike. That's a different story. But
Yeah. Steady on now.
you know what? So we have to go out of that and begin to use it to the full potential at some point.
I actually have parallels with the work we do there, where we've been for the last few years striding to focus and create high quality predictions and the underlying reasons for those predictions. What we're now doing is asking that question: what can I do if I know that prediction? What saving can I make? So how do I redeploy my efforts, perhaps for that prediction not to come true if it's predicting a project's going to be delayed or over budget or whatever? What can I do now differently? And it's been a really interesting voyage of discovery that, we're moving from, and I remember doing investment rounds and, some wise person sort of going, well, you're not providing solutions, you're just providing problems all the time. And bless their cotton socks, they're absolutely right. And that's the evolution we're going through, where no longer are we just providing the risks, but we're trying to close that management loop and go, here's the solution, this is what you can do to bring the project back on track. And it goes back to, we're starting to touch on that now. So roll that forward 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I totally agree with you about, it won't be just what can you do to bring it back on track. It will be a series of triggers or actions that can actually bring things back on track. And then, where is that human machine interface between those actions? I think that's where people get nervous, But I definitely concur with that. You mentioned sectors earlier, and do you see the benefits in this, within certain sectors, or is this, much wider than that?
I'll tell you something about what we do in the aviation sector. We are, as I mentioned, we are in training, development, and simulation, right? Aircraft simulation. We have a product called CAE Rise. And what Rise does is it acts as an instructor. Flight simulators right now, you can get trained on a flight simulator before going on the actual aircraft, right? So a lot of the training almost 95%, 90% to 95% of the training can be done on a flight simulator, depending on which authority it is, like the Europe or UK, Australia, US. They would define the amount of training that needs to be done before you can actually fly an aircraft. But when you have taken somebody, right, the first graduate of a high school, and that person is getting into a pilot training, there is a lot of there are a lot of things that that person needs to learn. So we have right now a tool, a very high-end analytic tool called CAE Rise, which monitors the performance of that person throughout the training program. So it not only provides a detailed overview of the performance, it also predicts what can or cannot happen. Now, how we use it is different, but what we are saying is the instructors have the capability today to look at predictive markers of that person's performance and provide and get suggestions for grading. So if you are graded by an instructor, it's a subject. Obviously, there are objective characteristics, but there is a little bit of subjectivity involved. When you are being graded by AI, you have that objective analysis of performance. Now, obviously, did you miss that turn? Why did you miss that turn? There's something which is subjective that will stay. And that's why we have instructors sitting behind and creating, modeling the iOS and giving instructions to the candidate. But the AI acts as a tool, acts as a helper to the instructor, giving benefits or giving inputs to what can happen, what should happen, right? Yeah. So yes, this is where we have really used AI, been using AI for some time now.
Well, for me, what you're describing there, if I sort of see similarities, I was thinking, well, your flight trainer is the equivalent of a digital twin, in construction, where you mock up or digitally create the project, and that is just going to get bigger and bigger, in your engineering world, in the construction world. But I think, in other domains as well, there will be far more simulation of what the likely outcome of the project will be, and technology allows us to do that. So that will grow and grow. My personal view is the other point I think you're making there around the performance monitoring and control. I think again you can go that back to an ethics point of view. Big brother, somebody's watching you. But if I just take a more positive out view, for me, it's like it's creating a better end product, as it were, and a better trained, more qualified person, possibly quicker, and at the moment there's probably the number of human interventions. I would have thought the number that they do today compared to what they did 5 years ago is reduced, and I would suggest that in another 5 years' time it would be reduced further. So that trainer, what they do in that scenario may reduce, but then it's back to, well, that frees them up, and what can they do with that free time? So maybe it's push on more on the the next step of the flight simulator. I don't know, but that's the point. It's about go back to your point earlier about administration. It's about freeing you up to do the next thing, as it were. So right. I mean, it sounds like we're both fairly advocates of AI in project management and AI generally. There's got to be some negatives here. What's the sort of challenges that you see here?
Subjectivity, too much data, because it's still AI today is not free from our subjectivity. What we embed is what we get. So the amount of data and the quality of data plays a huge role in the results that we get. Until we have reached a robust data set in any specific domain, the results we are going to get would be skewed. So the data has to be better going forward. And what I really think is the knowledge transfer, the value of what we are getting out of the AI, and that transfer of knowledge in organizations need to be clearer. We are spending a lot of time, effort, and money trying to implement something which may or may not need. It may not be the right fit. So treat AI as another employee. It's not something that you add on to a project and expect brilliant results tomorrow.
Interesting. I haven't heard it described in that way before. I like it. Yeah, the point about data, I obviously that's the number one reason that comes up every time. I would challenge that yes, it is a challenge, but I don't think it's insurmountable. We touched on it earlier. But your flight simulator, when it started, it didn't have the data, and now no doubt it's accurate within whatever. So for me, it's about embracing those challenges and working it out. And the knowledge transfer bit, I actually think is the bigger challenge in this for me. This is about what we've touched on throughout the conversation for me, which is how do you integrate machine and human? How will that work together going forward? And for me, that's going to be the bigger challenge. The data or the technical challenges, we're very clever people. We will overcome those. The technology will improve. The compute power will improve. The next major steps in computing will improve. For me, it's about this tussle that we're seeing sometimes in the wider world as to how we integrate. So in projects, for me, that's about change management. Simplistic things like I don't know, the prediction says X, project director who's got 30 years experience says I don't believe it. So you have to go through this sort of resistance to change and almost take a data-driven approach to throw it back to people as well.
Yeah. We do not we are not looking at it as a decision support mechanism, right? That's a structure that we need to aim to, and there are differences in management style. So that's the subjectivity I'm talking about, right? There is a bit of subjectivity in all of us. We are humans, essentially.
No, but it's brilliant. Well, look, we've been chatting for half an hour already, and I think we could probably continue chatting, but we could try and keep these to broadly half an hour. So if I may just ask you for one takeaway for the viewers of this, what would be your big takeaway in this?
Takeaway from AI in project management. Interesting. So as I mentioned to you, integration of project integration is, to me, the biggest challenge. It can be overcome. It's not difficult, but we need to slowly engage AI in it and not expect results. But the even bigger question for me is, what are we using it for? What is the essential question that we're answering? If we are thinking of integrating AI or any automated process for doing something, what are we trying to achieve at the end of the day? Are the goals clear? If we are not doing an analysis and implementing something, the results we get are probably not the results that we needed in the first place. So to me, to get something done, try to have your objectives clear, have multiple discussions, go back to the drawing board a couple of times, because that helps in clearing up your vision. Unless you have your vision there, you do not know what you're ending. Yes, you can go agile, but you do not want to go agile with a tool like this.
Yeah, excellent. Ask the right question in the first place, I think, is the summary of that. Excellent. Well, Himadri, thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to catching up in due course.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thanks a lot.